So there we go, guys. Hope that was a bit of fun for you. Obviously, as far as gold recovery is concerned, I've still got a little bit of fine tuning to go before I master the art, but I didn't do a bad job, hey. Oh, just a bit of fun. But the age-old question is whether to go for gold recovery from CPUs or whether to try and sell CPUs as actual collectibles. And it kind of, you know, every 12 months it kind of changes because, you know, at the moment the price of gold has gone up, so it kind of balances out the value of a CPU being a collectible, because obviously the more the gold goes up, and as far as collectibles is concerned, well, you know, they don't really go up that much simply because the die-hard collectors have already got all the regular stuff. What they're really looking for is production samples and really rare oddball stuff these days. I do know that, you know, some of the bigger collectors, one of the biggest collectors of CPUs in the world, has something like 3,500 CPUs in his collection, and many others have over 2,000 different CPUs. So all the standard stuff, yeah, so whether they're actual collectibles really is debatable, because one of the things with collectors is they don't just want a, you know, say a 486, okay, of any condition. They want the absolute pristine condition. So every pin needs to be perfect, and the better the condition, the more likely someone will buy it. Things like Pentium Pros, well, you know, sometimes some people will just buy a Pentium Pro just so they can have one, but really for a collectible, the pins have to be absolutely perfect. And, you know, sure, you remove the CPU from a PC and you can keep it in really good condition, but a lot of times I get CPUs from people that just they take them out of PCs and they sell me CPUs as scrap, and so they just throw it all into a bucket, and the pins are always usually got little bends, little kinks, and they're very hard to straighten out. You can sort of try and do your best, but it's never going to look perfect. And so, yeah, unless they're really rare kind of CPUs, they're really not that collectible. You know, like, okay, so here's a AMD K5 with the gold top. It is in very good condition, and I've kept it in, you know, sort of aside, but it's not perfect. And, you know, you can see a little bit of the printing is scratched off, and, you know, so it's, yeah, very hard to find an absolute perfect specimen of CPU unless you just pull it out and really look after it, you know, as soon as you take it out, like this Pentium. You know, these Pentiums are reasonably rare now, but obviously no one's going to buy that where you can't even see it. So obviously that's going to go for gold recovery. So what I'm doing here right now, I've taken out, apart from my personal little collection of individual CPUs, well, I'd say about 70% of my personal collection is not here, but it's only like one of each kind of CPU and some really oddball special ones. But this is a lot of what I've accumulated recently, or probably over the last year or so, and some are maybe a little bit longer. And what I'm doing is I'm just trying to sort out now, once and for all, what's possibly sellable as a collectible and what's just going to go straight into for gold recovery, and I don't have to think about it anymore. I do have a lot of the 486 types, and there's so many variations, so I'm going to go through a few of them now while I've got all this out here. But yeah, and that's the other thing too, collecting CPUs For most of them, they're all stuck into the variation thing, and if I was a serious collector of CPUs, I would be looking at variations as well. And then it gets really complicated, because you know, you're paying attention to the actual little serial numbers and the year of manufacturer and any kind of variation. But as I said, what the collectors, the die-hard collectors are looking for are really oddball ones. They have got these years ago, a long time ago, and they're still reasonably easy to find. But it's production samples and oddball ones from that are made from oddball companies and so on. So anyway, yeah, and because gold has gone up quite a lot, it's sort of like has cancelled out the value of the collectability of them. Unless, like I said, they're super rare, you're almost getting just as much from the gold recovery side of it than you would just trying to sell it. And so this is my thing when it comes to stockpiling gold recovery things. It's not necessarily for the gold value today, or silver or whatever. I'm speculating on gold value to shoot up a lot in price, and then either go for gold recovery or just sell them as gold recovery bits. And because most people, or you know, gold recovery people anyway, already know that you know what they're basically getting from each individual CPU. Probably the only confusing one are the 486s, because there's so many variations. There's even non-ceramic non-gold caps 486s, like that's a 486 SX, but it doesn't have a gold cap. Sure, they're inside, it's still, you know, got all the bonding wires and all that, but as opposed to this one where it has got a gold cap, so it's worth a little bit more in gold recovery. So they do vary a little bit. 386s maybe also. You know, the 386s are ones that I'm really paying attention to as far as the condition, and all the good condition ones, I'm just going to keep these, and as many 486s as I can keep. But I've got stacks of 486s. Most of what you see here are all 486s. They're just everywhere. So yeah, Pentium Pros, there must be 70 or 80 Pentium Pros here. There's 6, and so a lot of these, if they've got really good pins, you know, like I said, people bring me these from you know, to buy as scrap, and so therefore they're not really paying attention in how they're keeping them, in what condition. It's just scrap to them, and that's how I get them. There's a bit of a busted up one that we opened up just to have a look, and you can see the 2 dies here and all the bonding wire in there, and there's still a lot more that you can't see. Obviously the best Pentium Pro as far as gold recovery, well, it's debatable, but I believe by weight these are certainly the best, the Pentium Pro plastic. So no ceramic, and I've showed you before the inside, and you can see these are I think these are 1 megabyte cache. Yeah, they're 1 megabyte cache, and therefore they got 3 dies instead of 2. So and you can just see the gold in there. They're pretty awesome, these, and because they, you know, and they've still got the gold pins, and because they weigh so much lighter than a regular Pentium Pro, by weight these are about the highest value CPU in gold recovery you can get, as far as what people are paying for them for gold recovery. Collectability, well, they probably don't make much difference to the gold ones, although they are a little bit rarer, quite a lot rarer than the ceramic ones. But yeah, so I thought I'd just shoot off this video and yeah, just give me a chance now to go through all this stuff and sort out all the stuff that I want to keep, like, you know, these Samsung ones with the bolts. You know, I like, you know, any ones with bolts. They just look awesome. So obviously these aren't going to go into gold recovery, just going to keep these as specimens. Just picked up this the other day, quite oddball. CPU, white ceramic with two beautiful gold ceramic chips on the top. You know, some really big MLCCs on it as well. Yeah, it's quite an interesting piece. So even this, you know, it's not in perfect condition. All the legs are bent, and this was just in a bucket of scrap. So but you know, I still want it because it's so different, and it will just go nice in the collection. You know, obviously I'll keep one of these. These are not CPUs, they just come out of the projection TVs, but they're DLPs, and you know, I just keep one for my own little personal stash. And these ones here, the Suns, are quite interesting. They're a ceramic CPU, but they've got a very heavy copper top on top, and they come in a lot of different variations, and they're all, I'm pretty sure they're all Ultra Sparks. So either Ultra Spark 1, Ultra Spark 2, Ultra Spark 3, 4, and then you got a special one, which is, this is the Ultra Spark T1. So quite an unusual one. Look at that. It doesn't have pins. It is a ceramic CPU, but it does have a very heavy copper top. So these ones are very hard to price as far as scrap value is concerned, simply because of so much copper on the top. These little cute ones, a couple of different variations. Let's have a look here. So these ones here, you can see the gold underneath coming out of each corner, and they're also pinless. Nice. And this is one that I've taken the top off just to give you a little bit of a look. So just give you an example of the start of your nice gold there. Ultra Spark 2. Again, I took off this top. You can see the underneath the ceramic, and even the silicon die there. You can see the gold on that silicon underneath the black mask of the silicon. Ultra Spark 3s, same deal, but these ones have got pins. Take off this heavy heatsink. Again, we've got a silicon chip, but it's probably not really gold in that, but that's what they look like underneath the heatsink. So it's quite a bit of gold recovery there. Yeah, so yeah, that's all I thought I'd do. Is you know, it's been bugging me for a while, because every time I speak about gold recovery on CPUs, or pull out some CPUs and, you know, pull out a CPU out of a PC and say, oh, you know, that's going to be good for gold recovery, you know, people say, oh, it's worth more. Yeah, but you got to find, you know, where am I going to find the people to buy all these 486s? It's pretty hard, because yeah, there's a lot of competition. Everyone's trying to sell this sort of stuff as collectibles, obviously trying to get more money than gold recovery. But you know, even the Pentium Pros, I've got 70 or so. You know, I can't keep them all. So obviously, like this one, I can see it's a bit scratched up and stuff. Oh, my battery went flat again, and so I had to wait for one to charge up. So I've kind of lost my momentum. But yeah, as I might have been saying, that the Pentium Pro, because I've got so many, I can't see me selling all these Pentium Pros, or all the good ones anyway. So but yeah, I will sort them out. Yeah, and that's all I'm going to basically do. And for once and for all, like, if I ever get a CPU out of a PC, sure, I clean it up and I put it aside. And even if I've got it, which most likely is the case, I'll at least keep it as a collectible, possible collectible. But yeah, I'm just going to sort all this out, and and for once and for all have a separate area where I've got possible sellable ones, and I'll take care of them, and then the rest will just go into a bucket for gold recovery. You know, like these ones here, ceramic CPU, but they're not the Pentium ceramic CPU. I've got a lot of them, but I don't even know what to call these ones. So these are going to all go straight into for gold recovery. I'm not even going to bother with them. Obviously, I've got a lot of Pentium ceramics, just your standard ones. Again, I'll keep the best ones, and yeah, throw the rest away. A lot of AMD stuff, like the AMD with the aluminium heatsink, a lot of them there, and the even more ceramic AMD CPUs. I'm actually surprised at how many I've got of some of these CPUs. Even some people have brought me crushed up CPUs that they were probably going to start gold recovery themselves and then change their mind. So and a lot of this is good stuff, like, you know, good IBM CPUs and 486s and Pentiums. You know, some of them are almost ashamed that they're busted up, but hey, if it's all going to go for gold recovery, then that's how they're going to kind of end up anyway. And but I recommend guys not to bring me crushed up, because you're going to lose value, because we can't, like, look at that, that's from a Pentium. That would have been one of these, and they're quite rare. If it was in good condition, you know, probably, you know, definitely worth more than the gold recovery. But even if it wasn't, if it was a rough condition one, it doesn't matter, because at least we know what it is, and I can buy it at what it is for gold recovery. Whereas when it's all mixed up like this, it could be all kinds of things. So there is 486, and yep, they are a high value one, but because we can't really tell everything, so there could be just regular, like this is just a regular Pentium ceramic mixed in, so they're a lower value than a 486. So try, if you can avoid it, don't crush them up, but I'll still buy them if they're crushed up. And probably the only non-ceramic CPU that I keep for, you know, well, I keep them all. I've got a huge collection of everything under this, but probably the only non-ceramic CPU that can just about go in with your ceramic CPUs as far as value for gold recovery are the black fiber CPUs, and as opposed to the green or brown fiber, where it's about is just mostly just the gold pins. Black fiber CPUs are a little bit different. I've got a few here that have already been opened up. So so under the heatsink of the black fiber, you can see we've got gold plating underneath that, on that side, and then underneath the actual black plastic, you can see in there all the gold bonding wires. So that's why black fiber CPUs are worth at least twice as much as a green fiber, if not more. So we also got the gold pins, but all that gold bonding wire inside as well. And got a few different specimens, but the same thing with the black fiber. I got some in really nice condition, so I'll just keep them, keep a few as a collectible kind of thing, but most of them are obviously going to go gold recovery. But yeah, that's all I'm going to do for the next couple of hours, is just sort all this out and try and you know, differentiate things, and you know, certainly keep as many of these kind of things. I like these ones with the Windows 95 label, anything with oddball labeling I like. Some that are, you know, quite hard to get, and you know, it's really nice Toshiba. I showed you the K5. Yeah, obviously I don't have a huge collection for, you know, that I can class as collectible. I mean, sure, you know, I'll take one of, I've already got like Cyrix and a lot of these, in my collection already. So yeah, so the poor condition ones like that, it's going straight into gold recovery. I wouldn't even consider trying to sell this, even though the pins are reasonably nice. The top is just terrible, so that's straight into gold recovery. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah, just you know, if you want to give me your opinions on what you think should be done with CPUs, whether they should all just go for gold recovery, or try and sell as many the best ones. Well, I'm not going to sell them anyway. I'm still going to keep them, but maybe one day I might start trying to sell some Pentium Pros for collectible. But like I said, if gold goes up a lot, it's already gone up quite a bit here anyway in Australia because the Australian dollar's gone down, but it has gone up a few $100s an ounce worldwide. You know, and all it takes is one day gold to shoot up sky high, and then you can forget about collectible value, because, you know, the gold value will overtake any collectible value, you know. So people aren't going to keep paying more for a collectible if you know, like this was worth $50 in gold and people are only paying $20 as a collectible. Well, obviously people aren't going to start paying for these, you know, as a collectible $70 or something, you know. It's going to get eventually too high. So that's the thing. It's all about the price of gold versus the value as a collectible. And I did mention the die-hard collectors, the ones that have to have one of everything, they've already got all this kind of stuff. They're looking for the real ultra rare stuff nowadays, and so yeah, so there we go, guys. Well, I thought I'd just drop this video in. Probably gone on too long as it is, but yeah, and so give me your opinions on what you think should be done to go for gold recovery, or keep as many as I can for collectible. But that's what I'm doing anyway right now. So like this IBM 686 PR233, yeah, it's reasonably common, but this one is in really nice, you know, reasonably nice condition. About, you know, it has got a couple of bent pins, but that's about the best one I can see. So, you know, this is the kind of thing that I'll keep. You know, this Cyrix, yep, I'll probably keep this. And what I might do is put them into batches to sell as a nice collectible CPU batch, like 20 CPUs, all different types, few variations. These i960s with the gold caps. There's i960s without them. There's the little i960 with the gold cap. Yeah, there's all kinds of things. I find them very interesting. Obviously, you know, Pentium 1 and Pentium 2, tiny little ceramic CPUs. Obviously, these ones, I keep as many as I could get, because they're definitely hard to get and collectible. Some of these Motorola's can be quite difficult. Keep them in good condition. Real oddball kind of things. If they're in good condition, I keep them. There's something quite unusual. Can't find it now. But yeah, there you go, guys. So let us know. Keep scrapping. Have fun. Go for your gold. And I'll catch you soon.